The Supreme Court issued two major rulings today on same-sex marriage. In the first case, it struck down the Federal Defense of Marriage Act, or DOMA, allowing gay couples in some states to be eligible for federal benefits.
And in the second, the justices declined to rule on California's Proposition 8. And as a result, gay and lesbian couples can once again get married in that state.
But what does that mean for couples and the courts here in Middle Georgia? 41 NBC's Jasmine Williams explains.
Today's ruling was about federal benefits for same-sex couples. Now, to be clear, that does not redefine marriage here in our area. And while some people are celebrating, others are criticizing the high court's decisions. And legal experts are questioning what's next for Georgia. As people celebrated across the country and outside of our nation's capital, here in Middle Georgia, there were mixed reviews of the decision to strike down the Defense of Marriage Act and once again make same-sex marriage legal in California. In the Bible Belt, many opponents cite religious views as a reason for their opposition.
In the Bible, God created Adam and Eve, man and woman, not Adam and Steve. That's an abomination against God. That's how I feel about gay marriages.
St. Joseph Catholic Church in Macon stands against redefining marriages and unions.
Well, I think it's a sad day for our country that secularism, which has really become the new state religion, is not being separated from our government.
The court determined the Defense of Marriage Act is a discriminatory issue. Now that it's struck down, the federal government will have to recognize legal same-sex marriages and allow benefits to those couples. Georgia native Amber Powell looks forward to the opportunity of one day marrying a woman and sharing the same rights as other married couples.
Everyone should have the same rights, regardless of who you date, what you look like, what you believe. I just think that everyone should have the same rights. Like, just because of who I want to be with doesn't mean that I'm less of a person.
This ruling doesn't mean all gay couples have the right to marry. It only applies to states that legally recognize same-sex unions. Georgia isn't one of them.
Those purposes might be, limited depending on what the federal benefit is if they're living in a state like Georgia that doesn't recognize the marriage. That raises a question when the state where the couple married and the state where they live don't have the same policy.
Mercer University law professor Scott Titshaw believes it may be months before the state and legal experts get clarity on what this all means for gay couples living in our area.
I don't really think that they'll ever fully accept it. I mean, it may be legal, but that doesn't mean people are going to accept it. I mean, I don't think that I'm going to personally get married in Macon, Georgia.
As you can imagine, both sides are very passionate on this historic day. As for the church, they plan to continue to uphold its fight to maintain what they call a traditional marriage. And as for Amber, she just hopes to continue to celebrate this landmark victory. In Macon, Jasmine Williams, 41 NBC News.